Introducing Rhea Star. Welcome to Dimensions Creating Characters. So Rhea, she is another hero within the Star team, but she doesn't start off as a member of that. So she was Lucas's sister. If you're following along, Lucas is the leader of this team that's being put together in the series now. And Luna, unfortunately, was his sister. Not unfortunate because of the fact that they're siblings, but unfortunate because they both share the same powers of having magic that makes them as dangerous as a walking nuke, essentially. So just very powerful in general, just lots of energy. They can essentially say fireball and obliterate anyone who gets in their way. So Lucas gained these powers a lot. Her brother Lucas gained these powers a lot later in his life, which is why he wasn't necessarily detected. And by the time he did get his powers, the civilization had already collapsed because of the huge war going on. But Rhea, however, she got her powers when she was a child. So, naturally, as a good government does, they kidnapped her and decided to lock her away and train her as a weapon. So there aren't just villains on the actual villain side, but unfortunately, even the quote-unquote heroes are also villainous as well. Something I will add about Rhea is that her story, of course, it starts off as her not really knowing anything outside of a simulation, since she was trained since she was a child in terms of to be a super weapon, basically, yeah, super weapon and all that. But yeah, after she's released and everything, she's not inherently a violent person. She sees, whenever she attacks someone, she sees it as, oh, this is what I was trained to do, I'm gonna go do this thing. So of course when she starts meeting actual people, and of course eventually her brother, she's like, okay, there's not just me and enemies, there's enemies, but also there's people other than me who aren't enemies, and all that whole thing. So her and Lucas do end up arguing a little bit because Lucas takes the news of his long-lost sister being kept away from him by the government personally, which to be fair, that's an appropriate response. But yeah, so even the whole Star team that the government was helping to put together, he decides to, he and the team, they all decide we're going to go do our own thing and, face off against these villains taking over themselves. And of course, while Rhea joins him on this quest, Lucas is much more of a scorched earth type of leader, where he's like, okay, we just need, there's one right way to do this. We gotta, no matter the cost, we've got to beat up these villains and everything. While Rhea, you would think that she'd be on board with this, that's what she was trained for, but after finding another way to solve things other than just violence, she's like, hey, maybe there's a less violent thing we can do, since all she's known her life is violence, and she's finally seen peace. Is like, we should have more of this, So that ends up being a whole point of contention there, especially while Rhea may know a lot more in terms of scientific smarts and everything else, being trained on combat. Lucas has more of the street smarts and being able to, negotiate with people, and just real world experience with that. So definitely a battle there. So, they're happy to see each other at first, and then as the story goes on, they have tips here and there, but of course at the end of the day, they're siblings, they've just met each other, and they're trying to learn how to exist in this war-torn world. But yeah, that is the story of Rhea Star, and I'm going to show her to you guys up close. And here we have Rhea Star. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, tune in next time to see more characters, and have a great rest of your day.